I think the issue with mental health is we're not really taught to kind of try and understand maybe where it's come from. There is just so many different reasons why someone might be struggling with their mental health, from literally something as simple as not getting enough sunshine, vitamin D, to, some kind of unhealed trauma that's happened in the past, to, dietary hormonal imbalances. Like, there's so many different reasons as to why we might be feeling that way. So I suppose if we don't know that, and we don't kind of know where to look or where to maybe focus our healing and focus our attention, then it's kind of less likely that we're ever going to get better. So I just think it's really, really important to get to know ourselves as best we can, especially when we are trying to figure out some kind of mental health issue that we're going through. I think something that a lot of people probably don't know is that, serotonin, 90% of serotonin is actually made in the gut, and only 10% is made in the brain. So if your body is literally not producing enough serotonin, which is the happy hormone, then you're not going to feel happy. Like, it's as simple as that. If your body is not producing enough serotonin, then you're not going to feel good. And without knowing how to approach that and think, right, well, how can I actually cause my body to produce more serotonin, then it's going to be really, really hard to treat that. And just simply saying, go and meditate or do this, I think meditation is the best cure of absolutely anything, not the act of meditating itself, but the whole thing of quietening your mind and actually being able to go within and listen to what is going on. Like, you will learn so much about yourself, and that takes a lot of practice, especially if you're struggling with something like depression or anxiety or anything like that. It can be really, really hard to go beyond all of those tabs that are open in your brain of just negativity. And they say it can take at least 20 minutes just to close them tabs, just to kind of get past those thoughts and actually move into a place of quietness and being able to hear your inner voice and your inner wisdom and your inner truth, because it's from that place that we will actually get so much important information that we need. And honestly, the best thing that I've done through healing my PCOS, which of course has so many different symptoms, mental health being one of them. I really, really struggled with my mental health due to the hormone imbalance, and I think, and I bet there's so many people walking around with this same problem where they've got a hormonal imbalance. It's causing severe mental health problems, and if they're not approaching it from that place, from that root cause of, right, so it's an imbalance that we need to balance from within, then it's going to be really, really hard to treat that. And so I think, obviously getting any advice that you can when you feel like you need help from somewhere else, it's really important to take that step and actually get help. But it's also really important to remember that you can ask yourself as well, alongside whatever anyone else is telling you to do. It's really, really important to understand that you have so much power within, and actually being able to just go within and ask and, listen to all of the wisdom that's inside of you. And you'll actually, if you do it long enough, and if you practice it regularly and really commit to it, because it takes devotion, takes dedication, and it takes real commitment to be able to get to the bottom of your healing and understanding what route you need to take and where you need to start. Because just kind of focusing on surface level stuff is just never going to get to the root cause. And I think this is my issue with kind of mainstream medicine, at least in terms of my experience from when I've had PCOS and stuff like that. Like, doctors didn't really seem to care in my experience, and I've had many, many, many doctors. it depends on what they're taught, right? They're only going to know what they've been taught. So if they're not taught this approach of, rather than just healing surface level things, surface level symptoms, actually getting to the root cause for a long-term fix, as opposed to just putting like a band-aid over it and being like, yeah, cool, your symptoms are going to be masked by this pill or whatever it is. Actually understanding that there is a root cause to everything, you know, there's always a deeper level as to why something's happening. And if we don't approach that, then it could just keep coming up again and again and again, right? So like with my mental health and with all the other physical symptoms that I experienced with my PCOS, you know, if I was just to treat all of those surface things, and I tried that as well. I did try and treat the surface things thinking, right, so I've got acne, so therefore I need to treat my acne from buying so much expensive skincare, or my hair's falling out, so I need to buy this, and this. You know, I could have probably taken medication from the doctor for my mental health that I was experiencing. Not that I was ever offered anything like that, because I just don't think they really took much notice of what I was saying, but you know, but like that for me was a blessing, because it kind of forced me, and it took a long time. It wasn't like I came out of the doctors and I was like, woohoo, let's start my own healing plan, because nobody cares enough to point me in the right direction. It definitely took a long time and a lot of trial and error, but it's been a really beautiful journey of actually having to, like, I had no other choice but to go within and to figure this thing out from the inside, and actually find balance from within. And you know, it's led me to so many cool discoveries and research and information that I actually didn't know before. Like, for an example, like, people have probably heard me talk about this on my Instagram before, but I just think it is the most interesting thing ever. So like I said, there's like 90% of your serotonin is produced in the gut. So if we've got an imbalance in our gut microbiome, aka the bacteria that live in our gut microbiome, by the way, I think we're like outnumbered like 10-1 by these microbes and bacteria and viruses and all of that stuff that are in our bodies. So we're basically just a walking host for these living things that are on us and in us and everywhere. So obviously they're going to play a huge role, right? So they're actually so important, and they actually control so much more than we probably have previously thought, because it's relatively new science for some reason, even though the bacteria and stuff like that, like some of these strains were there, like existed before human life did on Earth. So they've been around a long time, but we're kind of only just taking them seriously in the past, I don't know how long, but not very long. Hence why not a lot of people know this information. But if our gut microbiome, right, if we haven't got the right good bacteria, and you might think, well, how do I know that? So pretty much most people will have a compromised gut microbiome, unfortunately. It's the world we live in today, whether that is from stress, it could even be stress in utero. Like for me, when I was in my mum's belly, wow, like we both experienced a lot of stress. So I was definitely compromised from the womb, and then I came out, and then I went through more stress, and then I got ill, and then I took heck loads of antibiotics that absolutely destroyed my stomach. I ended up having like 2 and then nearly a 3rd stomach ulcer throughout my life as a result of taking so many antibiotics because of my kidney problems and blah 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 blah, all as a result of not having the correct microbiome caused by trauma. That's my diagnosis anyway, but it sounds like the most close that I've ever heard from anyone else, so it makes perfect sense. So if you've been through any kind of trauma, stress, microbiome, good bacteria really does not like stress. So that's going to basically kill a lot of your good bacteria, and then it's not going to be able to thrive, and it's not going to be able to do all of the magical things that it does in there, which is, you know, producing hormones, which is, you know, setting off every single system within our bodies. So you know, things aren't going to work properly if they're not doing their job. They're like the little workers inside, like sending things off to the right places. They're like little chemical factories, you could say. You know, we eat the food and then they make the stuff that makes our body work well. So if we're not getting that right, you know, if half of them are off sick, then the job is just not going to get done the same, right? So So that's going to compromise it again. Antibiotics, which every doctor just loves to chuck out like they're free sweets, but we're not taught about probiotics, which is kind of a bit crazy. You see like an Actimel advert on the TV every now and then and stuff like that, but that is literally like, I don't know, 1 or 2 maybe strains of bacteria in that, and that's not necessarily the ones that you need to replace or build upon. However, any probiotics are probably beneficial. Any kind of fermented foods, live cultured foods, they're all good. But that's kind of all we hear about it, right? So we're given all of these antibiotics, but we're not given the probiotics to actually replace the damage that's been done by the antibiotics. Like the antibiotics kill everything, like all the bacteria, the good and the bad. So if you can imagine, if you've even taken 1 dose of antibiotics in your life, then you've probably got a compromised gut microbiome, which is pretty crazy. Birth control pill, that's another one. Lots of different kind of medications and stuff like that. Also, poor diet is a really big reason as to why you might have a compromised gut microbiome. So, like not getting enough fiber. So fiber, aka prebiotics, which is actually, so we all hear that fiber is good, makes you poop. That's why old ladies eat bran flakes and stuff like that. But it's actually so much more important than that. Like we literally need it because it feeds our gut microbiome. They need those prebiotics. So when you hear about prebiotics and probiotics, the probiotics are the live cultures, the prebiotics are the fiber in our food. And different bacterias actually need different types of prebiotic. So say for an example, you could eat broccoli every day, which is great, high fiber food. But if you're only eating broccoli as your high fiber food, that's only going to be feeding like not very many bacteria, right? Which is why we need a varied diet, lots and lots of fruit and veg, whether it's cooked or raw. That doesn't change the fiber content, but it does change the nutrient content. So if you're a fan of juicing, like I am, I absolutely adore juice. Like fruit and vegetable juice is just so good, makes you feel amazing, and it's just full of all of those micronutrients that we need, phytonutrients, polyphenols, all of that jazz. However, if you are just relying on things like juice for your nutrient intake, and the same as like supplements or anything like that, then you need to be making sure you're getting enough fiber as well. So if you're not getting all of that, or you have had like a bad diet at some point in your life, then chances are your gut microbiome is probably compromised, which could be, and I think this could be a leading cause to a lot of people's depression and a lot of people's anxiety. It's just not even knowing that actually I need more probiotics, so fermented foods, probiotics, live cultured foods basically. If you don't know what they would be, things like yogurt, obviously vegan, yay. You can get like kefir, which is amazing, kombucha. You can get kefir yogurt and kefir as a drink. I actually have it as a drink. It's like so delicious. You can get like different flavors as long as they're like natural ones. But they're also sugar free because the bacteria actually eat the sugar. So it's not even sugary, but it tastes unreal. Like it tastes like just fizzy pop, but it's good for you and it's full of bacteria, good bacteria. And loads of other things like, what else have we got? We've got miso. My brain's gone now, but like there's loads and loads and loads. What else is there that I eat all the time? I'm trying to think. Things like tamari, I think is fermented. Basically, yeah, just all the fermented stuff. Kimchi. Yeah, that's basically, yeah, just anything like that. Even I think sourdough, I'm pretty sure, is got probiotics in it. Basically all just the soured fermented foods are just really, really, really good. And then pairing that with the high fiber foods, because the bacteria need the fiber to eat so that we work really, really well. So if you are struggling with your mental health, it might be a good option to focus on your diet and focus on just that little adjustment, and it's always more important, I think, to make sure you're getting enough of the good stuff. You need to worry more about that than cutting the bad stuff out. We live in a world where it's all like, oh my god, diet, don't eat carbs, don't eat this, blah blah blah. Like, just make sure you're getting enough of the good stuff. That is the most important thing. And I'm not a doctor, but yeah, I'm just a gal that has been through the wars and has been trying to, I've been healing myself for the past at least 7 years. That was when I got my diagnosis of PCOS over 7 years ago. So since then, I've been on a mission, an absolute mission. And I've learned a lot, I've done a lot of research, and I've had a lot of fantastic results. So it would be a crime not to share. So I just wanted to share that because statistically, people are not eating enough fiber. Their microbiomes are depleted in some cases. People are having too many antibiotics, not enough probiotics, and everybody is experiencing mental health issues, some on a bigger scale than others, but basically it's an epidemic in itself right now, right? And of course people are dying, so I think we need to do something about it, and I just think this could be a really positive step in that whole, self-healing situation, because like I said before, whether you're getting help and advice from anywhere else, it's so important to take on that power yourself as well and do anything that you can alongside it, because that's, we are here for a bigger purpose than just to plod along and not feel good. We deserve to feel good, and we deserve to be happy and healthy and all of that jazz. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see ya.